Welcome to the Onstage Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Robert. And hello, here we go with another podcast today. This is excellent. And we have even a more special guest today. Jennanation, an R&B pop singing sensation, is quickly gaining momentum and on the international music scene, working with some of the best in the industry. And we're going to let her share that with you. So I want to play a little bit of her music, and this is going to be fabulous.
Over the world, try to find it. Maybe we can make it, but I doubt it. And though I need it, still I try. Let me picture sitting by the fireplace, cuddled in your warm embrace. I think I met someone last night, so familiar like a past life. Feels like deja vu, cause it's too good to be true. Do-do-do-do, the lights flicker like glass slippers.
Excellent. So here she is, Jennanation. Oh, sorry. Up, we lost you. There we go.
All right.
What happened there? I'm thinking, oh, it's so good to see you.
You too.
How has everything been going?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love your music. I've been listening to it over and over again. Now, don't mind that. You do remind me of a little bit like Britney Spears, sort of.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. But but you're really good. You're really good. I love that last song, "Cry."
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and "Can't Get Over You" is excellent.
Thank you.
Before we ask everything about yourself, let's just say that it's pretty cold here because we're in the winter, as you know. You're in Toronto, right? So you would know what it's like. But we're going to get that nice weather back soon.
Yeah.
So tell people who don't know who you are a little bit about yourself and the backstory.
Yeah. So, my name's Jennanation. I'm an R&B singer and songwriter, and I live in Toronto. And so I've been doing this for a long time now, since I was a child, actually. And I was pretty lucky that I was one of those people that just kind of knew from the very beginning that this is what I needed to do and wanted to do with my life. And I was very fortunate to work with some pretty amazing music teachers and even attend the Berklee College of Music in Boston. So that was pretty amazing. And then, like I said, I started really young. My first big gig was on Parliament Hill, and I was 9 years old singing for the Canada Day celebrations. And then it just kind of went from there, where I was singing at some of the major Canadian music festivals. And then really got serious about my own music kind of in college. And now I'm 4, working on my 5th album now. And yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
5 albums already.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. You got a great voice. Yeah.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about before you were into singing. What did you do? That you kind of describe yourself when you were growing up?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really know like myself without singing. I think I pretty much was singing before I was talking. And music was always a huge part of important to my family. So my dad's whole side of the family is musical. And so it kind of was just inevitable that I was going to do something music, I guess. And my mom and I used to sing together all the time when I was a kid. So I just remember it just always being a huge part of my life. I did dance, I did sports and all that stuff, which I enjoyed. But singing was always just like the thing that I loved the most.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is anybody else in your family musical besides yourself?
So, my mom can sing. My dad plays the drums. And then my grandmother is a classical pianist, and my grandfather as well has played various instruments and was in the music industry as well. So yeah.
Is he like your producer, your director? Does he actually control your music or?
No, I mean, he helped me a lot when I was a kid, and helped like introduce me to people and just kind of steer me in the right direction. But as I got older, he's always been there, to be someone to guide me. But I really wanted to, do things on my own too. So
Well,
and
that's
my
good.
dad actually has been a huge part of, well, both
Mhm.
my parents really have been a huge part of my musical journey. My dad has really been like helping to manage me right now. So yeah.
It's almost like you were born with a microphone in your hand.
kind of. Sometimes it feels that way.
Yeah, and you're all over the
Mhm.
net too. I see that you got like you're on Spotify, you're on
Mhm.
Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, YouTube, and
Yeah,
SoundCloud, which I don't know if that's hardly ever used, but either way, you get your name out there and
definitely.
people can download your music and from
Mhm.
Spotify as well. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Thank you.
One of your
Honestly, it's hard to keep track of all the different platforms because there's so many, new ones coming, like Twitch and Tumblr and all those things. But yeah, I do my best to focus on the ones that are there. So
yeah. I want to talk to you about your album. You don't know.
Mhm.
Tell me, how did you put that one together? Can you give us the process of songwriting and how it all comes together?
Sure. So it's changed slightly over the years, and yeah, it really depends. Like my favorite way to go about writing a song is pretty like organically, where um, either I'm by myself and something sparks, that creative creative spark, I guess you could say, to write something. And I can be inspired honestly by anything, with a conversation I have with somebody, to a TV show, to hearing another song, or just seeing like some kind of like phrase on a billboard. Like it really depends. I could even be walking down the street and then a melody will come into my head. It's it kind of hits me randomly. And I do write on my own, but I enjoy more collaborating with other people. So I love being in the studio with somebody, and especially like a producer or another songwriter, and just collaborating together and kind of working together on a song, because like, well, two heads are better than one, and you can
Yeah,
kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and it's really fun that way, collaborating in that way. So that's probably my favorite way to write a song. There's other times where I'll have an idea and I'll like record it quickly, and or get a rough down, and then I'll send it to a producer or another instrumentalist, and then they'll kind of create the backing track or the music around what I've done. Or there's times where people will send me like a beat or production that's already done, and then I'll write to it. But my favorite is just in the moment, organic creation. Generally, I write a lot about like love songs and relationships. And doing R&B music, that kind of is like what generally it's about. But yeah, like, I write from like my own experience, and sometimes it can be inspired by, something that a friend has told me or gone through, or like I said before, even, storylines from like a TV show or movie. But generally, there's always some like truth, like my own truth to what I write. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, excuse me. Do you actually? How long does it take you to get the song like recorded? Like when you first have the song down pat, Are
Yeah.
there are there
Um,
still issues, like maybe technical issues or microphone doesn't work that day, and so let's record tomorrow. Everyone up in there early in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. There's times where, I've gone into a studio, wrote the song, and recorded it in like a couple hours. But that's not common. um, Usually it's, you write the song like one day, or sometimes like if you get stuck, like you have like a chorus or a part of the song, then you come back to it the next week or months later, or it really depends. Um, and then from there, I usually try to get into the studio pretty quick. It's better, like I said, if you're actually in the studio writing the song, then you can just kind of record as you go. Um, but yeah, and then usually it takes like couple to few hours to end up recording the song. Usually I do record like a song in like one day or a few hours, but there's times where, I feel like my voice isn't like where I want it to be, or maybe I want to come back to it to like revisit with other like creative ideas and that type of thing. So yeah, it really depends.
Who's the biggest name that you've, not that, I mean, you're a big name too, but who's the most famous musician out there, the one that's been around for, that you actually have you sung with,
Yeah, sung with. Um,
did a duet with?
I mean, it was a very like like it wasn't planned performance, like improvisation with Bobby McFerrin.
Oh wow,
That
nice.
was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
5 albums. That's just amazing. And you keep going. You're gonna keep going. 10 albums,
Yeah.
15 albums, 20 albums.
Yeah.
Why not?
Thank
Oh yeah,
you.
right. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So what have you? What? Well, we can't really go to the venues and sing. So what have you
Mhm.
done singing online? Like who have you sung with online? Do you do a lot of online virtual
Yeah,
concerts?
I would say now like less so, just because things are starting to open again and I
Yeah.
am performing again, which is super exciting. Really missed being in front of people and performing live. That's like my favorite thing to do. But when things were locked down and closed, I definitely did a lot of online shows. I was doing, Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and um, even did some like other platforms that were showcasing live artists and performances. And then I ended up doing a lot of writing as well. So yeah, that was good.
So where have you traveled to in before this whole situation? Where have you traveled to do your singing and your concerts? What's your is there a
Um,
place that you remember that you've been?
yeah, there's quite a few places. I've been very fortunate. I do travel to the US quite often to perform. More often than not, LA.
Oh
That's
wow.
been really positive for me every time I go. It just seems to be like I started with like a small little fan base, and every time like that fan brings a few more people and a few more people. So I feel like they've really embraced me there, and it's been very positive every time I've gone. And but as well, some like I guess bigger, I guess, for me, just because it's like further from home, was like Cannes, France for MIDEM, which is one of the biggest music festivals in the world.
Yeah.
I've gone to like Denmark to work with a producer and songwriter there. Um, I've been to Holland for New Skool Rules, which is one of the biggest urban music festivals in the
Holland.
world. And
Wow, that's yeah.
yeah, so I've been lucky. I've been fortunate to do some traveling for my music as well.
Yeah, Holland. I was in Holland years ago in
Oh,
Amsterdam, The Hague,
yeah,
Rotterdam.
yeah,
It's excellent.
yeah.
So yeah, but you currently are living in Ottawa, right?
No, I live in Toronto.
You are
Yeah,
in Toronto.
I'm from
Okay.
Ottawa originally, but I live in Toronto.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, but why? So it's opera and jazz and classical,
Mhm.
but you're
Mhm.
doing pop. Can you do opera actually?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
I am
nice.
classically trained. Yeah.
Yeah, so you do like classical, opera, and
Mhm.
jazz. So actually, you have a varying genres, right?
Yeah, so I started, well, as a child, really all I cared about was singing Disney songs. But then from there, when I started working with a teacher, she's actually an opera singer. But I feel that it's really important that everybody study classical at some point, just because it's hugely, I mean, all singing should be, but classical is very much technique based. So that was really important for me to understand singing with proper technique, so as to not like injure my voice, and also for our endurance. And so that's greatly helped me. But my teacher also, like, she did really push classical and opera on me, just because she loved it so much. And I did develop a love for it, but at the end of the day, it just like wasn't for me to go into an opera career. But I have been in operas, and I sing opera. It's been quite a few years, so I'd be rusty now. But yeah, and then I did a lot of musical theater as well, from there, how I got into jazz, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents when I was a child as well. And so that's kind of how I got introduced to jazz music and really, really loved it. Some of my biggest influences have been jazz artists like Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Nancy Wilson, even some instrumentalists. So I kind of fell in love with it. And then I started working with this accompanist who is a very accomplished jazz pianist. And so from there, he kind of was giving me like homework. And so I was like transcribing scats and, my like famous improvisations and even getting me to imitate what I was hearing. And so that kind of really helped me, I guess, learn more about jazz and that vocal jazz. And so I really enjoyed that. And I had a career first as a jazz artist, where I played some of the major jazz festivals, the Toronto Jazz Festival and Ottawa Jazz Festival. And I did 2 jazz albums as a teenager. And then jazz will always still be like a huge part of my life. And you can hear it within my style now. But just as I started to write my own music, it ended up being a little more on the R&B side of things.
Yeah, you said about imitation. So can you explain that?
Yeah, so basically, like he would give me a song by, let's say, Ella Fitzgerald, and then I would go home and I would study it, and I would basically have to try to sing it like her. So all of her inflections and tone and vibrato, and so it was really a good exercise for me. Yeah.
And that worked for you?
It was great.
You probably had a lot of mistakes, but eventually, to the point when you were able to do it, you said, "Okay, I'm ready," and then you went, "Ah."
Yeah, that's how you learn. That's really how I like kind of develop my toolbox, because obviously you don't want to copy any singer at the end of the day, but it allows you to adapt and have those tools within you. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Also, I noticed that rap isn't one of the genres.
No, I am not a rapper. I have rapped on stage before, but I wouldn't say it's my thing. I do listen to rap music sometimes, but yeah.
So what's currently on your playlist? Do you have a playlist for everything? Like, for instance,
honestly, like it really depends. I mean, I listen to 90s R&B music a lot. That's just probably like my favorite. Sometimes in my house when I just want to relax, I'll throw on some jazz music. Otherwise, when I'm in the gym, I'm generally listening to hip hop or reggaeton. Like my styles are kind of all over the place. It really depends on my mood. So yeah.
Yeah. But you said before that you always write songs dealing with romance and things. Have you ever
Often, yeah.
Have you ever written a song that's "Get away from me, I don't want to see you again"?
Oh yes, of course.
Throw your keys, you know.
All the emotions, yes, definitely.
Yeah. That works.
Yeah.
I noticed you were singing an Italian song in like what is a virtual window? It's like a duet with different people. It was like an Italian song.
A Spanish song. Yes.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did that take you a while to learn the inflections and the lyrics?
So I have also been like studying Spanish. It's just something that I've wanted to do. I've always loved the language. So I wouldn't say I'm fluent, but I'm definitely conversational. Like I have a lot of friends in the Latin community, so they were able to help me to like get the pronunciation, and I've been working on it just myself. So yeah, but not too long, thankfully.
Yeah. Where do you find yourself 5 years from now?
I mean, ultimately, I plan on still putting out music and creating. Unfortunately, the pandemic has definitely taken things a few steps back for me. Before the pandemic happened, I was planning some tours and all of that. So I'm hoping to get out there again, and now with some brand new music. And like ultimately this is full time for me, but I still have like another job on the side for now. So which I also enjoy, but obviously music is my number one. So I'm hoping to soon be able to, just focus all my energy on music and, have my soul living from music.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like,
Yeah.
if you're performing,
hmm
can you actually literally go to work the next day, or do you actually perform and then you have to wait a few days and go to work? Like, how do you separate the two, if that's possible?
Yeah. No. So, yeah, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes. But I mean, performing just gives me so much energy, and it's such a positive experience for me that I really wouldn't have it other way. So I mean, I'm a personal trainer as well. So sometimes I do, I'm performing till like 2 in the morning, and then I have to be up early the next day
Oh,
to train
wow.
people. But um I enjoy both of the things that I do. So yeah, I really can't complain.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing that.
Yeah.
What did it feel like being at the largest urban music festival, New School? What is that in Holland? How did
Yeah.
that make you? Like in
Oh,
Holland, this is Holland.
yeah, it was
You know
really
Dutch? Do you know
amazing.
Dutch at all?
No, not at all.
Mm.
But honestly, anytime I travel, I do try to pick up like a little bit of the language as much as I can. It's been a few years now, so I don't remember any, unfortunately. But yeah, it was really an amazing experience. There were so many talented people there, and people just so passionate about what they do. And it was really cool to have times where we could just like jam and improvise together. And I made a lot of really great connections there, and even some collaborations after the fact, which was really cool. But it was just great for networking, and I got to do some performances there as well. But I just find like Europe in general, but Holland is just um, they're so encouraging and so accepting of like the arts and
Mhm.
creative um, anything like creative. Really, they're just like all about it. So it's nice to see that and feel that.
Do you prefer to be at your job, or do you prefer to be actually in a recording studio and working with the drummers and all those other instruments, the producers and directors? Like, what do you get? Where do you get more joy out of your regular
Um,
job or music?
oh, definitely music.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy my regular job. It's definitely rewarding, and but music is always has like my heart. And while I love being in the studio, I would say like the best feeling for me is being on stage performing. So yeah.
Yeah, can you ever mix the two? Like when you're at work, you're singing.
Oh
And
yeah,
when
it happens all the time. I'm training people, and the song comes on and I start
Mhm.
singing, and so yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Mhm.
What was the very first time performing like? Like how many people and how did it make you feel?
Like professional performance
Yeah.
or
Or give me both. Like when you first
yeah.
started performing like at school, like how many
Yeah.
what's the amount of people you can perform in front of before you're nervous and you just want to like shake your mic and then walk out or drop the mic?
Yeah, well, I think I started performing from such a young age that
Mhm.
I never really like felt nervous just because it was something that I just always did. So it started like literally I was 2 years old when I started performing, and really it was just for my family and their friends and all of that. But yeah, I guess my first like public performance was a singing competition that I did when I was 8 years old. And
Mhm.
I think that just kind of validated me as a singer and knowing that there's something that I could do because I ended up winning the competition. So I was like, okay, it made me believe that, okay, this is something that I'm meant to do or I can do. And then from there, having my first gig at 9, like I said, performing on Parliament Hill for Canada Day celebrations,
Nice.
and it's 10,000 people. And yeah, like I didn't feel nervous. I think the only time I'll ever feel nervous now is if I'm going on stage and either one, I don't feel like entirely prepared, that I either haven't had enough time to practice, or um, I'm like working with people for the first time and we didn't get to like rehearse enough or that type of thing. Um, or sometimes like performing a song that I wrote for the first time in front of people can be a little bit nerve wracking when like no one else has heard it and you're like, yeah, here's my soul, for the first time. So
Yeah, but you don't know
yeah,
what would people's reactions to
right.
you.
That can be a little bit scary.
Yeah.
So you hope it's good.
Like if you sang your
Yeah.
song in front of 50 songwriters and people
Mhm.
who were going to sign you up,
Mhm.
and let's say it's 50 people and 40 of them liked it,
Mhm.
would you keep going even though those 10 didn't like the song? Or are
Oh yeah,
you
absolutely.
expecting
Because
you expecting
not
50 people?
not everybody's gonna like what
Yeah.
you do, and that's also been a nerve-wracking thing for me as well, where I've gone into meetings with like record labels, or even when I've gone to some of these like music conferences, you play your song for them, and they're these experts, and then they go and like tear it down or like critique it all, and so it's like, oh, okay. Or sometimes it's really good, but no, I enjoy the feedback nonetheless.
What about what do you think of things like America's Got Talent or The Voice or American Idol? I don't know, or Canadian Idol. I don't know if they have those
Mhm.
anymore, but have is that something that you had a desire to do, or that's something you just wanted to avoid? Because I know there's a lot of
Yeah.
they're great singers, and they're just like, we don't want you, or like, what are they looking for? What are they looking for? These singers are excellent.
Mhm. Yeah, I've definitely thought about it. I do know some. I think like it's a really great way for people to get out there and have their name out there and be known. Especially people who just don't have the means or like the knowledge, like to be able to do that, or the connections. Although like you do have to be careful sometimes with these shows, because some of the contracts can be pretty, you know, crazy, where they kind of like own you for the
Oh
rest of your
no, you
your
don't want to
life
be
and
owned.
everything that you do. So yeah, you have to be careful. I actually did try out for America's Got Talent. So I had like my first audition, which was virtual, and that went really, really well. So they ended up inviting me to the second round, which was in California. And then unfortunately, when I got there, I got really, really sick. I could barely sing.
Oh,
So when I went to do my second audition, like it wasn't good, just because like I was so sick. I could barely
oh,
sing. So it didn't go very well, but I did the best that I could. So they did invite me back. I just haven't gone back, but I would definitely consider it in the future.
yeah. If it wasn't for you, it wasn't for you. But you keep
Hmm.
trying, and but
Hmm.
you're gonna stand and say, "Hey, how you can't say no? I got 4 albums." Yeah. But, I noticed, like, 250,000 views on YouTube. Did
Mhm.
that get you any gigs? Did people call you up and say, "250,000 views, there must be something in this girl, and I wanna know what it is." So,
Thank you.
did they invite
Um,
you out?
it's definitely helped to get my name out there more. It's helped to do like some collaborations with producers or other artists. Um, yeah, it's definitely done that for sure. I would say more so like collaborations versus like performances, but yeah, both are really good.
But have
Mhm.
you, so your next album is yeah, you said your 5th album is gonna be a jazz album?
No, my fifth album is original, like
It's
R&B,
original,
R&B
okay,
pop
that's
music. Yeah.
good. I know
Mhm.
that one of them is a jazz album, and actually, when you think of singing all these different genres, how about different languages besides Italian? You ever thought of singing French or German or
Yeah, so through my opera, I've done a lot of singing in different languages. But yeah, I've sang. Well, I also speak French, so I've sang in French and Spanish, obviously, and I've also done some stuff in Portuguese and Italian, and so I'm totally open to other languages for sure.
well, I don't know that Polish, I think, would be pretty difficult to do.
Probably, yeah.
There's this another group, they did Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah in 14 different languages,
Oh,
and
cool.
there's some languages like Hebrew
Mhm.
and Polish that they actually had the people that speak the language there to tell you how to phonetically how to say the
Right.
lyrics. And I
Hmm.
know Arabic, like I work with people who are Arabic,
Hmm.
and just because you know Arabic doesn't mean that this person over here knows that dialect because in different
Right. Yeah.
places they have a different dialect.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's the most difficult. I tried to learn Arabic, but it didn't last. But I'm trying to learn Hebrew,
Okay.
but
Cool.
you have that Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
But it's not like if they were to offer you a lot of money that you would go and we're going to offer you this. You sign a contract for $200,000. We want you to sing this Polish song.
Mhm.
What would your reaction be? Like,
Yeah. Why not?
would you have a week to do it?
That's fine. Yeah.
Really? Wow,
Yeah. No,
that's a
I wouldn't.
challenge. I should
Yeah.
put you up to
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Sign me up.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
that's great. Yeah. Now, what about the video? Like, I didn't get a chance to see the behind the scenes for Can't Get Over You, but I
Mhm.
know there you had a few videos that had a behind the scenes on there.
Yeah. So
Tell
really, it
me
was
about
just
the behind the scenes of Get Over You because that's a fantastic video.
thank you. So it was more so behind the scenes in terms of creating the song. So you kind of see like the process and being in the studio and how that all looked. So there's a few of those for some of the songs. Mhm.
Yeah, I noticed that you watch your videos, it's 4 minutes, but basically some I've talked to said it takes them like 4 days to 5 days to create a 5 minute video.
Mhm.
Like that's a
Yeah,
lot of
usually
work.
most of my shoots have been like a 1 day kind of thing, and we organize everything in advance, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, and you have to make sure that you have all of the equipment and the location, and everything's like timed and planned out so you can get all the shots that you need done in the day. And I've also done some shoots where it's been outside in freezing weather and super
Oh
hot,
yeah.
and so that those always make it interesting.
Yeah. What's the worst situation you've been in performing?
Oh gosh. Performing. I would say, well, definitely if I can't like hear myself and the sound isn't good, that is really frustrating for me. Um, but I would also say there's been some times where I've performed at certain like bars or venues, and like there's been people who've got a little too intoxicated and they try to like come up on stage or that type of thing. So that can also make it entertaining.
I was at a karaoke with a few friends, and we go there once in a while, but we can't
Mhm,
since the little situation. But we used to go
mhm,
on a Sunday and a Friday, whatever.
mhm,
And this guy who was intoxicated told me
mhm,
to shut up, keep quiet, and
mhm.
I'm like, well, okay, if you don't like my voice, then
Oh,
I'll sign it or something,
oh my gosh.
No, it just
Oh,
happens. Like, what about
yeah.
the technical issues you've had? Okay, so
Mhm,
the whole week you've spent, let's say your performance is on
mhm,
Saturday night, and on Monday you have to all get together.
mhm,
You have your pianist, you have your drummers, you have your guitars, you have everything. Even a violinist is there.
mhm,
And for the whole week, you're all prepared. Everything goes well,
mhm,
nothing happens.
mhm.
And then Saturday night, boom, something happens. Do you have a backup plan? Because
Yeah,
all
well, it depends on what it is. I've had things where, like my pianist can't come because his car broke down,
Mhm.
or the yeah, the sound system isn't like what we thought it was going to be, or there's a cable missing, or yeah, so it's honestly you can't fully prepare for those things, but you just have to do what you can in the moment. So um yeah, sometimes I've had to have people like run to the store to get a certain like
Oh,
cable
yeah.
or whatever it is. And yeah, so you do what you can in those situations.
Yeah, when you want things to go without a hitch,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because you have the people coming in to watch you, they're paying the money
Mhm.
to see you,
Mhm.
and it's not like I can't remember who it was, Adele or Britney Spears or,
Mhm.
Christina, I can't remember, but they showed
Mhm.
up and then they walked off the stage. Oh, yeah, it was yeah, it was
Mhm.
Taylor Swift.
Mhm.
So she opened up a show,
Yeah.
and then she just walked out.
Mhm.
And people spend a lot of money on
Yeah.
these shows, but at least she was saying, "Well, and I went to a few Josh Groban concerts, he's my
Mhm.
favorite,
Mhm.
and, they usually, give your money back or to say,
Mhm.
"Well, we're gonna make sure those tickets hold on to those tickets, and you can use them for when I come back in a couple of months," whatever. But still, there's
Right.
no reason to walk out. Just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't sing today for
Mhm.
the mill," so they just suddenly walk off. Have you
Yeah.
ever have you ever had that desire just to walk off the stage because it's just too much?
Um, yeah, I
You're
have
singing, and then
if
Jenna
it's
drops the mic and then walks.
I never would, and I never have, but yeah, there's definitely been some situations where, yeah, just like the sound is not good. And I don't mean just for myself, but like to the audience as well, where there's like constant feedback or like a hissing sound or something like that. And for me, it's like, well, if the sound isn't good, why are we still? I would rather just like take a break, figure out what's going on with the sound, and then come back like 10 minutes later or 15
Yeah.
minutes later. But you don't always have that luxury. So,
No, like you're in a
yeah.
recording studio and then you're singing your song and you're like, it's perfect. You take the headphones on,
Right.
and then the guy in the recording studio says, "Okay, you ready?" What do you mean? I just sang it.
All
Oh,
right. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
definitely happened where I feel like I just got like the best take yet, and he's like, "Oh, whoops, I forgot to press the record button,"
Oh.
or something happened where like the computer gets like overloaded, and so like it didn't save the last take, and yeah, that can happen too.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing a performance, I walked in and there's all these people around. So, are
Mhm.
they here for listening to us sing? No way. I was actually about to just turn around and walk out, but I thought, you know, be a big man and sing in front of all these people. They're here to see everyone.
Mhm.
So I walk into the venue. There's
Mhm.
400 people in there, and I'm going home. I said to my friend Joseph, who was singing with us, I said, "Do you see all these people? I can't sing with all these people," and I was so nervous and everything.
Yes.
As soon as it was my time to go on, almost half of the people were gone, and I figured, wait a minute,
Oh.
and I realized that everyone that was on the stage doing their performances, their relatives were in the audience, and as soon
Mhm.
as they were done,
Yeah.
their relatives took them home. So by
Yeah.
the time it was my turn, there was like 50 people in the
Yeah. No,
and I'm
I've
like,
definitely experienced that with some of those like
yeah,
showcases that I've done. And yeah, sometimes that's just the way it is. Like the last one that I did, I remember like it was really, really nice. They were like trying to feature me. So they like put me at the end of the night,
oh,
which I was like, okay, but unfortunately everything was really behind. And so by the time like it was my turn to sing, it was like 2 in the morning. Everybody had like pretty much gone home, and I was like, okay, like so yeah, unfortunately that happens sometimes.
yeah. Well, you seem to be doing pretty good for yourself. I mean, it's
Thank
pretty
you.
excellent.
Thank you.
Um, so, but what else? If it's not singing, it's not working. What else do
Mhm.
you like to do?
Yeah, so I mean, my work also is my like pastime as well. So like I'm big into fitness. I love to work out. It's a huge part of my life as well. And then I love to travel. Yeah.
Have you, when you were in LA, well, actually,
Hmm.
you're in Beverly Hills, obviously, same
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
Like, do you get recognized places, or
No,
do you get,
not
or
like
people
that.
think you're someone else?
No, not there yet.
Not yet, yes, but you
Yeah.
will be. I know that when I find out, I'll be going, "Hey, you're Jenny Nation, I know you," and
Thank
you'll be
you.
like security.
No.
But yeah, that's pretty good. I really like that. Yeah, so I was trying to figure out what songs to put on that little montage for you,
Mhm.
and I
Cool.
had to
Thank
look
you.
out to make sure that I had put the right titles of the songs. And I'm thinking, wait
Mm.
a minute. And just when I was about to create, I said, wait a minute. Are you sure that song is called "Don't Give Up"? And looked at it and said, no, and then I realized I had put, so if I had shown it, you would have seen that's not the name of the song.
That's okay.
So I had to correct it. And so tell us about that song, Roses. What's that one?
Roses,
Is that
yeah.
from the deep inners of your heart and soul?
Yes.
You went, oh, I couldn't
Um,
think of a song. Oh, Roses.
yeah. So, I wrote this song a year ago now, and
Hmm.
it's my latest single. And yeah, this song for me is like kind of encompasses, I guess, the style and the direction that I really am moving in now. there's a lot of like that old school 90s R&B feel to it with some of like the newer contemporary R&B. And yeah, this song was um, just about like a relationship, and when maybe like you meet somebody and there's like a strong connection and like a friendship even at first, and then like something just hits you and you realize, well, like, no, I am like completely head over heels for this person. So yeah, I wrote Roses, and I released it on like Valentine's Day last year, so that was perfect for that. And with this song, it was one of those songs that actually a producer had sent me the production, and then I ended up writing to it. But as soon as I heard the production, I was like, oh my god, I need to write to this. So I loved it. It was totally my style.
So, what do you excel at? Writing lyrics or writing music, or do both?
So I would say melodies have always been stronger for me. And over the years, I've had to develop my lyric writing. Still working on it, always working on it. But yeah, I would say probably melodies. Melodies are the first thing that come to me generally. And usually I can like come up with melodies pretty quickly, and then lyrics kind of come later. So.
Like, I never understood the whole song process because
Mhm.
when I remember dreaming of certain really wonderful tunes. I'm thinking, what if this tune is just something I heard on the radio years ago and it's just coming back to my subconscious? How do you know and determine that this song, like, how does
Yeah.
it work? This song is yours and hasn't been used. How do you
Mhm.
determine that?
I mean, I've definitely made some songs and I was like, okay, this really sounds like this song or very similar to this song. So you do have to be careful with that. But at the end of the day, I feel like there's always going to be some kind of repeat somewhere because there's only so many notes in the scale and so many combinations. So, I mean, and so many chords. So, like eventually there's going to be some repeat and crossover, and um, yeah. So I guess you do what you can.
Do you prefer to sing without music, a cappella? Or do you prefer to sing with music?
No, I prefer to sing with music, and especially like with live musicians versus a pre-recorded track.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's something that's a good idea to do, is to do pre-recorded tracks, and then
Mhm.
the person comes online and said yes, introduces themselves, and then
Mhm.
they say exactly what the songs are,
Mhm.
and then when they drop out, then these video files are played, which is
Mhm.
a better idea. But then concert, I did have a podcast with a friend of mine who's a great guitarist. She's had songs on Spotify. She writes her
Mhm.
own music, and I allowed her just to, performance, and it was great. But that's talk about setting up virtual
Mhm.
playground, so like a virtual platform. I allowed her the previous day just to spend about an hour just getting the mic and the guitar and everything. And when she finally got the mic and it
Mhm.
worked really well, by the time she was able to perform, it was excellent. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this from now on. So, but then on my side,
Yeah.
um, I'm dealing with. That's why everything didn't start out like it did this today, because I'm missing one USB port, so I'm using the mouse pad,
Okay.
and then my mic didn't work, and so it's like,
It
oh, I wanted
happens.
this one with Jennanation to be perfect, and now it's like first she drops out, and then she comes in. First, I think I'm putting her on the screen, but I'm putting on her videos again, and I'm like, oh, gonna get worse. Plus the lighting.
Oh,
But
it's
even though you
probably
have,
me. I feel like I'm a little bit cursed with technology because that
yeah.
always happens to me. Like every time I'm gonna go live online, something happens. So yeah, I apologize. I brought you into my curse.
Oh no. Okay, you know what? She's not gonna be part of your group, okay? No, just kidding. No, talking about groups, I was actually part of a church group.
Cool.
We were called Gentlemen of Songs. It was like GOS, and we traveled for a bit, and then I sang duets with a few people, and I joined this app called
Okay.
Smool Sing,
Yeah.
singing with people around the world,
Mhm.
and And then what happened is that, yeah, so you get to meet all these people around the world. You get to sing with them. So I've actually had podcasts with a few that were on Smule, And
Oh.
I actually, not only do I have like the podcast that I have here is
Mhm.
specifically for musicians, performers,
Mhm.
and also people I sing with on Smool as well.
Okay.
And so basically, I thought, let's get Jennanation. Maybe she will be willingly to be on the podcast. And when you
Yeah,
said
why
yes, I
not?
was like, yeah.
Of course.
So, and also, I was going to ask another question, but
Mhm.
yeah. So, yeah, you're a massive hit on a worldwide scale. You're one of today's top artists. She is on fire. And that song, "She's on Fire," that's have you sung that one yet?
I have not, but Alicia Keys is a huge influence of mine.
Now, let's go back to your song "Cry."
Hmm.
And people, when they go back who haven't actually seen a podcast when it first
Hmm.
started, they can go back and they'll watch this song called "Cry," which is a nice song.
Hmm.
Where did that come up? Like, was that did you say I'm gonna write a song called "Cry"? Or
No, actually, usually the titles come at the very end of the song.
is that how
Um,
it usually happens with musicians, or is
y-
it just like, okay, I got this
for
really
me
cool title for a
anyway.
song?
For
Oh,
me
for you?
anyway. But yeah. How did this song start? Yeah, I think so. I was going through a time where I was a relationship of mine had just ended, and music is always helpful for me to, I guess, get my feelings out. It's like my therapy in a sense. And so yeah, I was working with a couple of people in Houston, Texas, and both of them had come from like gospel background in church, and like I've also been like very influenced by that and just love that style of music. And so it was something that I just really wanted to do or like incorporate into my own music. So I knew that's where it was going. And yeah, and then the words just sort of poured out. And generally that's the case if you're also like feeling the things that you're writing about. It comes a little bit
Yeah.
easier. So um, yeah, so that's how that song came to be.
Are you around very loud music? Because that causes tinnitus, and
Mhm.
I've known people like I've heard just different types of tinnitus, and on YouTube they
Yeah,
give you a channel on the tinnitus channel, and they show you what each tinnitus sounds like, and I'm
yeah.
like, and basically that's caused by loud music in your ears. Like my cousin
Mhm,
um, has a sort of tinnitus in his ear, so he kind of.
mhm.
But it's when you listen to um,
Right,
loud music, and
mhm.
I do it occasionally 'cause I love the silence. Usually, I don't like the buzzing in my
Right.
ear.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that during a performance? 'Cause
Um, yeah, I try to be super careful with that.
Mhm.
And yeah, so anytime I can use my in-ears, my in-ear monitors, I try to do that. You can hear yourself better and it protects your ears. But there's sometimes where it's just not a possibility. And so like you're on stage and it's super loud and the drummer is like right in your ear. And yeah, and I have tried like using like earplugs, but unfortunately I just find that that doesn't work for me because I can't hear myself well enough. Yeah, so I do my best to try to take care of my hearing in my ears, but sometimes there's some situations where you just can't get out of it. So I think I've been pretty lucky so far.
Or you wake up in the morning and you got laryngitis and you can't sing. And
Yeah,
it's supposed to
that
be
has definitely happened to me. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But what's your backup plan? Like I know in Shakespearean
Yeah.
acting and celebrities they always have their understudies, but musicians don't really have an
Mhm.
understudy. So
Yeah,
who's
I mean, depends how bad it is. Like generally, I will try to push through if I have somewhat of a voice and just do it. But yeah, sometimes I just have to cancel the gig if that happens and I can't sing.
yeah. You'll do
Yeah.
anything for love, but you won't do that. What is that you won't do?
um, where is that from? I know those are my lyrics.
Meatloaf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What won't you do?
What won't I do? Oh, quite a few things.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And so have you ever had a really like have you ever worked with anybody that kind of usurped their leadership sort of like told you what to do, and you were like, I can't work with them anymore? Or how do you go through? How do you get through something like that? If you worked with
Yeah.
someone, even at your job, if you worked with
Mhm.
someone who you can't get along with, and especially when you're supposed to perform with them,
Mhm.
how do you deal with that? Is there someone
Yeah.
that happened to?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
I think definitely when I was younger, that would happen a lot more. Just because I think like sometimes when people are older and like more established in the industry and all of that, there can sometimes be like egos that come along with that, or they just think like because they've been in the industry so much longer than I have, or whatever it is the case, that they, have the right to tell me how to sing or what to do, or so, and then like I understand that, but obviously there's a way it can be done. So yeah, sometimes that has been difficult, and like sometimes you can't get out of those situations, and you just have to push through and try to make it work as best as you can. But yeah, generally, I mean, I am far enough in my career now that I can pretty much like avoid those situations, or if I'm not, enjoying working with somebody, then I just don't, or I don't choose someone to play with me that I don't get along with, or I feel doesn't have like the kind of attitude and like same values. So yeah.
Do you know what vocal range? Well, thank you for that answer. Do you know what vocal
Yeah.
range you're at? You said you were you can do opera. But what's
Yes,
your
I'm a,
vocal range?
I'm a soprano.
Could you
Yeah.
do Christine Denay, Phantom of the Opera? She
Oh,
goes with the
yes.
highest one. Sing
Yes.
for me, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow,
Mhm.
that's amazing. What's the lowest you can do? Did you know I've actually
Mhm.
was I was watching about she's online, but she's a no you ever heard of the female tenor, and
Mhm.
she goes as low as she was called as a female baritone. She
Okay.
had a really low voice, but she could also go high.
Right.
How low can you go?
Um, I've really been trying to develop my lower register.
Mhm,
I guess like average low for a
mhm.
female, but I've really been trying to do that more, especially I find with like a lot of R&B artists or alto singers. So it's nice to have some of those like lower notes. So yeah, as I'm getting older and just like developing my voice even more, I'm getting some lower notes, but yeah, it's been harder for me. Definitely the higher range comes more naturally to me. So
Yeah, do you like to be called a pop singer? What do you like to be called?
more
Like
so R&B. Yeah, R&B singer.
R&B, like
Yeah.
rhythm and blues. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this title going to change as you get older? Because if you were a pop singer in the 80s, such
Mhm.
as I can't remember her name now, but Tiffany, yeah, she was a pop singer. She was known as a
Mhm.
pop singer,
Mhm.
but you wouldn't call a 56-year-old female pop singer. You
Uh,
can't call
um,
Cher a pop singer.
Maybe, I don't know. I would still consider Cher pop. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess it depends. But yeah, no, I think I'll always continue in R&B. Um, I've also considered, going back to my jazz roots potentially in the future, and maybe doing a jazz album or two here and there. But R&B is, I know what is feels the best for me.
Well, let's go into the question and answer. Someone here has a question for you.
Sure.
Um, do you feel the lower range has a rich tone to it?
Yes, I feel now that as I've worked to develop my lower range, low mid range, it's definitely has more of a richer tone to it, you could say. Hmm.
How much of a richer tone? What do you begin to lose
Well,
that
that's the other
richer?
thing too. I feel like sometimes with the higher register, it actually can be more difficult to develop that richer tone just because of where it is. So again, that can take some time and practice as well.
How do you know the song you're going to write is a jazz song, a pop song, a classical song? What do you consider a classical song? Is that something like an opera song?
Yeah, opera is classical. There's, I guess, yeah, there's various categories within classical music. So yeah.
I know someone mentioned that Cher
Hmm.
and Madonna can still or still call themselves pop singers, but Madonna, I mean, like, oh, Billy Joel, for instance, his
Hmm.
daughter. Have you heard her sing? She's more on a jazzy side.
Remind me her name.
Well, everyone knows Billy. You don't know who Billy
I
Joel
know
is?
Billy Joel, his daughter.
Yeah, his daughter
Yeah.
sings.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's actually, I think it's Ray Joel, I think, but
Okay.
she's
I
really
don't think
good.
I've heard her,
She's
but
really good.
yeah, I would definitely check
And
her out.
Matteo Bocelli, he's got his own
Hmm.
album out now.
Okay.
And
Cool.
when you're a father, like when Andrea Bocelli's son
Hmm.
grows up and he's got a really nice voice, you want to be
Of
proud.
course.
Do you want your own children to be able to sing as well? And
That'd be nice, but I'm just, if that day comes, I just want them to be happy with whatever they're doing, so they don't necessarily need to go into
yeah,
music.
what I can't. There's a lot of, like I mentioned about Smool sing. There's a lot of
Hmm.
great singers. There's over 25 million Smool members,
Hmm.
and there's so many good singers out there. They don't even know how good they are, and some of them
Hmm.
are in jobs like they're lawyers, they're
Hmm.
doctors, they're surgeons, they're airline pilots, and they sing,
Okay.
but they don't want to be up front performing.
Yeah.
They just want to sing, and they're pretty good too,
Hmm.
and they really do well for themselves in their job, but they also just like singing for people, but they don't want to
Yeah.
do much. But
And sometimes that's the case. It's just a creative outlet. Not everybody needs the, notoriety or for people to like acknowledge that it's just something that they do for
yeah,
themselves.
are your parents proud of their little girl?
Yes, very, and I'm very
Good,
lucky. Yeah.
good. So, my daughter's a pop singer. So proud of her. But you mind me asking? Is it personal? But is your job? What do you do as a job?
Yeah, so I'm a personal trainer. Hmm. So I'm in fitness.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Because when you mentioned you had a job, I thought it was totally something outside of music. Oh, that's excellent. Good.
Mhm.
Is there a time you think that you just want to? Okay, that's it. I had enough.
Um, there's moments sometimes where I'm really struggling or it feels difficult or I question it sometimes, but at the end of the day, I always come back to, yeah, I know that I can't like give it up or live without it. So
Did you
yeah.
ever see the movie Pitch Perfect?
Yes.
Remember when Chloe was talking about notes?
Hmm.
Is that an issue for you?
No, no. I think, like I said, with all the the training that I've had, that I've really learned how to properly use my voice and really study technique, and that's been really important and very helpful for me. So that's never been an issue, thankfully.
Do you have a certain drink or food that you like to drink or eat before you sing, or do you just like
um,
how do you practice? What kind of
Often,
gymnastics do you do?
yeah, often I like to drink mint tea before I perform. Just the menthol like opens up the sinuses, and just having something warm like on your throat just feels good. But yeah, and then I definitely warm up every time I perform, and I have sort of a certain I guess routine that I do every time. So
Does someone said that they want to know uh, if you date somebody or if you're in a relationship with somebody, do you want them to have a talent like singing or music or have some sort of
um,
musical talent or no?
No, that's not important to me. Like I have dated people previously who are like musicians or in the music industry, and I mean, it's great that you can like understand each other that way, but it's not necessarily important to me. Um, it is important to me though that that person at least like likes music and listens to music, or can appreciate it. But yeah, we don't necessarily need to be in the same industry.
Yeah, just don't stop singing. I think you're excellent.
Thank you.
I really love your music, and waiting for your next album. So, but do you have you're gonna think of doing a complete opera album and then a complete pop album and then a
Who
complete jazz
knows? I
album?
probably would never do an opera album.
Really?
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe one day I'll like pull out an opera song on stage. But yeah, I'm definitely going to continue with writing my own music, and then who knows? Maybe in the future I'll write or do a jazz album. So yeah.
Do you have a Mount Everest song? Like my Mount Everest song is Nessun Dorma. Go Nessun Dorma, and then having to, like, if I could do that song perfectly,
Hmm.
with the
Mm,
fishalo at the end and the high
mhm.
register. That's what I would call my Mount Everest. What would be your song that
Mine
yeah.
is, which I've never fully mastered, is "Love on Top" by Beyonce.
Well, someone here says that they actually listen to some of your songs and they love
Oh,
them.
thank you. That's so nice.
But definitely don't stop singing
Yes.
because we want to be able to go on the net and listen to your voice.
Oh, thank you.
Um, so what else was I going to say? Yes. So yeah, there's a really nice Latin singer. Well, there's Mark Anthony as well.
Mhm,
There's a song, I Need You, which is a song that I use for one of my own relationships. And that was our song.
mhm,
And then, you're in that relationship and then you're gone. You can't really use that to say, oh, that's our song. It's sort of like you don't want to listen to the song anymore.
mhm,
And that happens in relationships.
mhm.
I was going to ask, what's it on my plate here? I can't remember now. Shoot. Oh, it was supposed to be important. Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right. So there's a Latin singer. His
Mhm.
name is Alessandro Safina.
Okay.
Check him out. There's a song
Mhm.
called Luna.
Okay.
That was the very first Italian song that I ever tried. It's it's one of those songs. Only you. Luna means only you.
Okay.
So basically, it's a song Luna and in brackets only you.
Okay.
Only you. And then the song is perfect, and that's a song
Mm,
that I love to sing. I want to sing,
mhm.
and there's so many different types of artists out there. And you said you don't
Mhm.
like rap. You're not an Eminem fan, I guess.
Oh, I like to listen to rap. I'm just not a rapper myself.
No,
But yes, I'm a fan of
you listen to it,
Eminem.
but you don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
What song keeps you going? Do you have a song that keeps you
Oh
going?
god, there's so many,
Yeah.
honestly. But speaking of songs I could probably, like, sing forever is, like, "Summer Over the Rainbow" is one of those songs for me.
Oh, really? Everyone likes
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Because someone named Iz, it was years ago named Iz. He did a really nice version,
Okay.
Hawaiian version
Mhm.
was really nice. And
Cool.
yeah, but yeah. So what new song are you working on now? Besides, I mean,
Oh,
your
well,
album's gonna be.
yeah, so I have a whole album coming, so I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
And is that where the song Roses is coming from?
No, Roses was just a single on its own,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's in that similar type of style. So, yeah.
Well, but you have all the equipment that you need to. So if you want to just write your own music and just sit down at the piano, but that wasn't your
Mhm.
piano that you were playing Cry on,
No.
right?
Yeah, I'm not that good of a piano player.
So, so what kind of instruments do you have then?
Yeah, I have a keyboard here.
Oh, okay.
I also play saxophone. I'm pretty rusty
Saxophone.
right now, but yeah, I used to be,
Real.
yeah, I used to really play saxophone as well, so
And then you
mhm,
chose to be a singer.
that's right.
That's you prefer singing.
Mhm.
I don't think it'd be possible to be a saxophone player and to sing at the same
Sing at the
time
same
because
time, yeah,
how
but
are you going to do
I
that?
did used to sing and then, like, I would take a saxophone solo, previously, so
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, that's amazing. It's so good
thank
to
you.
hear all about you, and but so I'm looking forward to hearing some more. So,
Thank
what do
you.
you find yourself? So in the summer, you're going to be. Do you do what others do? Is that you produce an album and then you do like a performance of all the songs on that album? Like,
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping for moving forward, is once this album's done, then, definitely doing, like, a album, like, release party or performance, and then, hoping to tour from there with the new music.
oh yeah, and
Mhm.
who's have you ever met a celebrity?
Yes.
Which one?
Quite a few.
Oh, who's your favorite?
Oh, I don't know if I can pick a favorite.
Oh.
But yeah, I have opened for Shawn Mendes, so that was a pretty big day.
Shawn Mendes, really?
Yeah.
Did you ever
Mhm.
get a chance? Did you meet him though? Like I heard that he wasn't.
Very briefly.
Oh,
But yeah. Yeah.
oh, that's cool. I'm so
Mhm.
happy that you showed up for this. I'm actually very happy that you part of the podcast or able to
Oh,
answer
thank
some
you so much.
questions. You're very welcome, and I look forward to hearing some more music. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna end this stream,
Okay.
and we're gonna say goodbye. And thank you very much,
Thank
Jenna. I
you.
really appreciate that. So let's say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.